Good afternoon, everyone. While this is getting set up, let me just quickly introduce myself. I'm Anand. I'm a part of Google's partnership team, publisher and developer partnerships team, and I'm essentially responsible for Google's monetization products. Let me just see if this is set up. Okay, so quick housekeeping stuff. I've been asked not to take live questions. So I'm just going to restrict to speaking what I intend to speak, and then I'm around. And Gitanjali, can you just get up and wave to everyone? Gitanjali is from my team. She's going to be here. Gitanjali and I both are going to be here, and you can just interact with us. Feel free to reach us. Okay, so I'm just going to start with this video that I really found very interesting, and this very beautifully portrays the world that we live in. So let's just quickly watch this video. Mobile has changed everything. I mean, that's no news, but the ways in which it is exhibiting itself, it's really, really amazing. People spend more than 3 hours on an average on a smartphone. 3 hours. That's almost like 30% or 40% of your time you're awake and alive and you're doing something. Now, over 65% users in India are now going to be mobile only this year. And that's, I mean, people used to talk about mobile first. And now we are in a world where most of the users are just going to be mobile only, and that just changes everything because how do you reach them? How do you deliver services to them? How do you deliver products to them? It's completely getting reimagined, and you can see it every single day. Every single day, the sort of stuff that our startups are doing, the way we are going about buying our stuff, be it e-commerce, be it hailing a cab, everything is getting reimagined. Let's look at what people do when they are spending so much of time online, on mobile. So look at the chart on the right, in the green. Look at the long bar, that's chat and VoIP, basically WhatsApp sort of tools. And then social networking, so that WhatsApp, social networking, Facebook, these are the most engaging products. Then you have search. Then the next element is about shopping, if I can point this. So anyway, shopping, music apps, video, and app stores. So social, search, video, shopping, and app stores. So that's where people are spending majority of their time, and that's important for all app developers to understand. And that's how you need to understand which channels you need to engage them on and how do you have to interact with people. So Google was really concerned about what's important for developers, and last year we did a survey with a huge developer base across the world, and what came out of that survey was these two things, which is growing your audience and monetization. And I wasn't here for the entire day, but the last 2 sessions that I saw, people talked a lot about these things. And I'm going to add some more perspective there. And indeed, these are the 2 things which developers care most about. And these are the things that they need to focus on. So let me start with growing audience. What's important in growing your audience is, first of all, you need access to a lot of users. You need to be where your users are. You need to know where they're spending their time. And then you need to know who the right users are. And I mean, it's fairly intuitive, fairly commonsensical, but how do you do it? I mean, you have a sea of users, and you need to identify who those right users are for your app. How do you get access? Now, app discovery is no more just about social. It's expanding, and things have really moved over the last 1 year. I mean, look at some of these stats. 27% of users search to find the apps. Now, what's happening is that earlier when the apps were just about evolving, there was one app for something, or maybe 2 apps that did something for you. Today, there are like hundreds of apps that do the same thing for you. And a typical mobile user has 50 plus apps on his phone, and the phone memories are giving way. So the users are not downloading every app that they come across. They're searching for app, they're looking for information, they're comparing, and then only they'll download. YouTube, I mean, look at the reach that YouTube has, over 1 billion users. And if you look at any top channel on YouTube, it's very interesting that across the globe, in all major geographies, the top channels are gaming channels. So it's a very good platform for gamers to promote their app, to get their app downloads. In fact, last year, we looked at the people, what sort of content people are looking at. And in gaming, the majority of the content that was being looked at was game promo videos. So game promo videos are really useful way of connecting with your audience and letting them know about your app. Then you have a huge reach of Google AdMob network, which is a mobile ad network of you have a reach of about 900 million unique users through the Google ad network, and then millions and millions of users through Play. So you put all of that ecosystem together, and you have the right usage base, and the targeting capabilities are now getting better and better. So what Google has done over the last 1 year is really, really bring the power of data, Google proprietary algorithms, and combine all of that across products to give you very rich user sets, very rich data user sets. And that's what is now sort of helping. Now, if you look at what data you should be looking at, I mean, and there's just a whole lot of conversation a short while back about this. You need to show your ads to the right people, right? People who don't have your app. So you can do this. I mean, Google's algorithm will automatically figure out if your app is compatible with the user's device and show ads only to those users where you have an app compatible device. Otherwise, there's no point. I mean, people will download your app and they'll have a bad experience with it. People who like your type of app, people who have downloaded the category of apps that you've made, people who have exhibited interest there, you can target them. You can show ads to people who have made previous purchases. And you can do that even at a category level. So there's a whole lot of benefit that you get out of combining all of this user data and then targeting people through that. This is another interesting product that is coming out from Google. It's in beta. And what this does is it assigns probability to a user. So you can bid higher for users. You just don't get a user, you get a buyer. Somebody who has spent on app, somebody who has spent on IAP, or has somebody who has paid on app stores before, and you can target those people and get it. And the beauty of this is that you as a single user does not have a static probability. You may be more likely to pay for a news app, but not as much for a game, and someone else may be more likely to pay for a game and not for news. So your probabilities differ by category of apps also. Now let's look at the other side of the story. Now we've discussed the audience building part of it and driving app installs. Now let's look at the other important aspect, which is monetization. So what do you do here? Again, as with everything Google, it has to start by knowing your users. It has to be very, very data-driven and based on your analytics. You have to show the right ad at the right time. And of course, you have to have a reliable ad network which can give you the right fills and so on and so forth. So now Google Analytics has, again, over the last 1 year, it has been completely reimagined as a product for mobile apps. And it's been tightly integrated into AdMob. And it combines your data with Google data, and you can really, really you can do a lot. So if you look at some of the things that you can do is, within your user base, you can track the most loyal users and then go and target those sort of users. You can get minute-by-minute data. You can get real-time data on what a user is doing on your app. You can see where the drop-offs are happening, where the app crashes are happening, and you can use a lot of that data to improve the user experience. And you can measure impact. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you might have used Google Analytics, and you probably already know that you can measure your user either way. You can slice and dice your data either way. I mean, you can look at the number of clicks, you can look at the number of times, the amount of time spent, and then put all of that data together to get a lifetime value of your user, and so on and so forth. Now, AdMob, there are 3 different types of users. In fact, I mean, you can slice and dice it some way, but there are various categories of users. You can't just have one way of approaching a user. You can't just say that, hey, I'm a developer who monetizes only using IAP, or I'm a user who just does ads. These are not either or. These are and options. So there are some people who will pay for stuff. There are some people who will be happy watching an ad. There are some people who will want to watch a video. And you have to intelligently be able to identify who those users are, which is where the power of IAP house ads comes. This is a product which is now launched in AdMob, and this is a very typical statistics. I mean, this 3% number that you see here, it's one of the best that you see in the industry. The 3% of your users are eventually going to buy or pay for anything in your app. And the rest 97% are never ever going to buy or pay for anything in your app. So what you need to do, I mean, imagine if I'm a guy who will never pay, what's the use of showing me that shiny sword that you've made and keep telling me that I should buy that when I'm never going to buy it? And at the same time, I mean, you don't have to bombard everyone with everything. You can create intelligent buckets and then do the right thing for that bucket. And that's what this product helps you do. This combines your app data with a whole lot of Google data and Google proprietary algorithms and machine learning to give you these rich segments, and then you can target those rich segments. And that just makes your business a lot better. This is native. So we had some discussion around native and how you can do native and how native doesn't scale. And Google has taken its own sweet time to come out with native. And the primary reason behind it was we need to be very, very sensitive to what a user needs. We cannot ignore the user. And we wanted to make sure that an ad is shown as an ad. It doesn't get missed as a content and then it's consumed as a content. But at the same time, we're trying to align it with the look and feel of your app so that it doesn't spoil the user interface. So what we're doing here is you will get the basic elements of an ad. You'll get a headline, you'll get a picture, you'll get this Play Store link, you'll get the rating. All of that will be sent to you. And then you can use those elements to render a native ad for your app. So this is again in beta right now, being tested out with some partners in India as well. And this is going to be soon launched, and the right way of doing native, which is, do it at scale. An example of how a native ad will look like, this is from Atari. And lastly, video ads. I mean, I'm sure all of you know about TrueView ads. They're probably the best example of a win-win scenario. I mean, it's a win for an advertiser because an advertiser pays only when a user watches that ad. It's a win for the user because the user can choose to see that ad or not see that ad. And it's a win for the publisher because eventually the CPMs are really, really high on it. So this is the sort of innovation that we want to do and we like to do, and this was something which was available only on YouTube for the longest period of time, and now it's available on AdMob, and you can do so much more with TrueView. And when it comes to demand, I mean, all conversations fall flat if you're not able to fill. And that's where the power of Google's 1 million advertisers comes into picture. I mean, one is you get really, really great fill rates from Google, but we've not limited to that. I mean, we understand that for the ecosystem to grow, for everyone to prosper, you have to integrate with as many people as possible. So that's where Google's AdMob's mediation framework comes into picture. The mediation product of AdMob integrates with 40 networks, and these, I mean, all the popular ad networks that you would probably be using, you can mediate using AdMob. And a whole lot of them, some 15, 16 odd, we get live CPMs where the targeting, I mean, the CPM and your overall ROI becomes much, much better. Couple of examples of people who have used some of these product features. Backflip, for instance, was a company which was very averse to doing ads, and then they realized that, you know, it has to be an integral part of their business model, because while IAP may work for you, you don't want to leave money on the table, right? I mean, you're monetizing just 3% of your users. What about the 97% of the users? So in a sense, the time is already up, so I'm just going to leave you with this one thought. Leverage your data. Imagine the possibilities when you combine your data with the Google data and use Google's algorithms. Imagine what you can do in these sort of rich segments that you can create, and then you can build your business. So thank you, thanks everyone. I'm around and Gitanjali is around. I'll be happy to take questions offline. Thank you so much.
Anand, check. Thank you, Anand. Please go. I'm losing breath. Please give a big round of applause for Anand Dubey from Google.
Thank you.
Anand, would you like to join us?